What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Thank you, and you're welcome. Today's video. I may have told this story a while back, but I can't remember, and I'm gonna tell it again if I did. And I'm not sure how much detail I put in it. So here we go. This is inspired by a comment where they asked about, there was a white guy in the comments, and he was saying about cell extracting or boarding up. Boarding up is when you cover your windows, and he was saying that as far as the whites, once you board up, it doesn't come down till they come in. And I think it's like that with just about everybody in there. But I will say that the schooling that I had, and who I got it from, I was always against boarding up or cell extracting, right? Now, let me tell this story. So, I know I told this story, man, but this is for those that didn't hear it. I'm going to tell it again. I was in Ad Seg in the new standalone unit in New Folsom. The standalone unit is the newer Ad Seg, and they try to make it more. It was similar as far as how the cells are situated, what you see when you're in the cell. They try to make it more like Pelican Bay Shoe, right? Where the cops don't get to, they can't see into any cells. When you look out your cell, you see a white wall. The two bunks are against the back wall. They try to make it exactly like it. They couldn't, but they tried. Well, all of a sudden, there was a correctional officer, and he was assigned to the standalone unit, right? To the hole. We're just going to say to the hole where we were at. And this guy came from the psych area. I don't know, wherever the hell he was at with it. He was used to dealing with EOPs and enhanced outpatients, right? These are the guys that are JCATs, that are taking hot meds, real JCATs, not people just a little shermed out from PCP or whatever. These guys were legitimate nuts, and this is where he was assigned to work, and so he got, for whatever reason, moved from there to where we were at. Okay. When you are in a prison is very dangerous. When you are in Ad Seg, that is the most dangerous place in that prison unless there's a shoe connected to it, right? And the reason why it's so dangerous is because everybody in there is there for something violent, probably headed to the shoe for years, and back then maybe forever, right? And they really don't give a damn. They're in their cell all day plotting, and their plotting is from a place of anger. So it's very devious, right? And again, here comes this guy. I wish I could remember his name, man. So when he got there, he was used to speaking to JCATs and thought it was okay to come from there dealing with those people and to come over where convicts were and killers were and speak the same way. So he was free with the motherfuckers, punk, and all that. That stuff came out of his mouth, talking to men. And I think the first person he hit with something like that was a northerner. One of the northern raza was coming off the yard, and he said something foul to him, right? And we looked like, whoa, because it was by our. So I was towards the back of the tier, and that's the doors open, and then there's all the dog cages, the yard, right? All the little yard cages and shit. Ah, man, I'm sick, you guys. My bad. And nothing happened. And then it was like when they released the next yard group, boom, he did it again, running his mouth, right? I remember he had like an Italian name, short dude. And what's crazy is, I don't know about any other group, but I know for the Southerners and the whites, the Southerns and whites all had handcuff keys. I'm not gonna tell you how they were made. Those that don't know how you make those, but everybody had them. I mean, there were so many handcuff keys back there that I remember going to the yard one day, the little dog cage, and after working out, Vatos would bird bath right there. That way they wouldn't have to do it in the cell. And finding the handcuff key there, and I'd have to ask like, "Hey Holmes, who was in cage? Who? Oh, I am. Hey man, you got that for me? Yeah, I got you. Take it back and get it back to him." So hearing this guy talk like that and not seeing people get out of their cuffs to get him, it was a little bit like, huh. But, so he was there about, maybe it was a week. Maybe, right? I don't know. I don't remember that. And all the disrespect he was showing to everybody, every ethnicity, he didn't care to him. And people were checking him like, "Hey, Holmes, you don't come over here talking like that. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Get against the wall." Yeah. So myself, I watched what he was doing. And, you make sure to pay attention. What is this weirdo tripping on? And don't give him the opportunity to trip on that with you and put you in that position, right? But I knew, and everybody knew, what was going to wind up happening, right? And the way I was wrong, though. Check it out. So, like I said, he was there a week or whatever the hell it was. It wasn't a lot of time. And the conversation started. I always tell you guys, I was a nobody in prison. I don't ever try to make it seem like I was ever something I wasn't, right? I did have a little bit of say-so there. So did other dudes, and the conversation started amongst us. And it was him, right? And the conversation basically was this: we're gonna hold our trays, we're gonna board up, and we're gonna have these juras. We're gonna handle it that way, right? And I was dead set against that. Like I said before, like I said earlier, I've always been against cell extractions, boarding up, and it was because of the way I had been schooled early in my prison term. So what I had offered was this. I said, look, the problem we're having is this CO is disrespecting Raza and everyone. Now, here we are once again, the only ones discussing doing anything. I said, now here's what I choose. I said, because see, it doesn't make any sense to me that we're gonna have 6, 8, 10 cops with motorcycle helmets on, stab-proof vests on. They usually have towels wrapped around their necks. Usually, like padding on their elbows. We're not gonna have them come in with batons and a shield, spray us. Cause see, by that time they weren't doing cell extractions anymore in New Folsom. They were calling them cell rescues. They would light the cells up with gas until you either tapped out or passed out. You passed out, that's why it was cell rescues. They would come and rescue, cuff you, drag you out, get you into the air. So I was telling them, I was like, this is chemical warfare now. Even before, though, they would come in and they would beat the dog shit out of you and you can't hurt them. They got too much safety gear on. So I said, here's the option I want, and I want everybody to at least consider it. I said, this one dude, and I said his name. I said, he's the problem, right? And we've tried discussing him with his partners, like, hey, why don't you check him before it turns into something major? And they turned a blind eye, right? They're acting like they couldn't tell him anything, right? I said, so we have 8 tiers. Tiers weren't this way. There were 4 this way, and then on the other side, 4, right? I said, we have 8 tiers, right? I said, what I want to do and what I think we should do is a homie from each tier wax a cop. I said, and I'm going to go first. And I'm going to hit the one. I'm going to come out of my cuffs and I'm going to hit the one that's the problem. I'm going to whack him. And then the first tier that gets yard after that, whatever homie raises his hand, he's going to get one. The next time, it's another tier, he's going to get one. And this is how we're going to make sure that they understand you had an opportunity to fix the problem and you chose not to. Now it's payday, right? And I was told, that's too extreme. Nah, that's too extreme, homie. Let's just hold the trays. And when they come around asking, they're going to ask who is willing to come out and at least explain to them the issue. And then they told me, you come out and you let them know this and this and that. And I was like, I think this is stupid. I think this looks bad. Like, if we're not spilling blood and instead we just want to hold the trays and talk, like, that don't make sense. And even if the talks don't work, then we got to get sprayed up. You know what I mean? Like, so the vote came down and it was the hold the tray shit, right? So I remember leading up to it, the day when we decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and hold these trays. Tomorrow, we're going to hold the trays, right? So the night before, word went out. The raza from Southern California reached out to everybody else in the oil. The raza from Northern California, the whites, the blacks, everybody. Hey, this dude's been disrespecting you guys as well as us. We have an issue with it. It sounds like you guys do too. Tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and hold our trays. And we're going to see where it goes. Do you vatos want to participate? And everyone made it extremely clear. We're good. They knew there were more raza from Southern California in the oil than anything. They knew that it was people were going to get hurt, right? And I guess they figured, you guys are already going to do it. Why should we get involved, right? So, and people felt kind of, upset about that. Because it's like, hey, he's disrespected everybody, every group back here, but don't trip. We'll take care of it. So then whatever sopas and stuff we had in ourselves, we made sure we passed them down to, the woods. Hold on to this, after the cell extraction. Because when they cell extract you or cell rescue you, they clear the cell out. They take everything, right? So that way we would have our food and shit still after, the reindeer games and shit. So the morning came and we held the trays. Then they went around, boom, and then it came to my cell. Hey, we heard that we're supposed to pull you out. And I'm like, wow. Who didn't even ask me, like, hey, are you willing to, because that's what they do. Are you willing to discuss why you're holding the tray? They didn't even do that. Somebody in another pod, another tier told them, go to his cell. He'll explain it. So I was like, wow. So they cuffed me and my cellie up. And they take us to the office, right? And the lieutenant, and it was Lieutenant Moreno. The lieutenant was escorting us along with a few other COs, right? And we go and we sit down. In the office is the captain, the lieutenant, and like 4 COs, right? Me and my celly are cuffed up and we're sitting there. And so basically I'm doing all, there's a problem here. You guys, ain't training your officers right. They need to learn how to respect people and speak with respect. Nobody's disrespecting them. All the old bullshit, right? The captain was 100% agreeing with everything that I had to say. Obviously, he did not want to do any shooting in cells, with the block guns. He didn't want to be shooting in those cells. He didn't want to be spraying in those cells. Nothing. And, it was surprising in a way how agreeable he was. But, when you're in them situations, you're always mindful of the words you're speaking and also paying attention to everything going on. As I'm talking and listening, engaged with the captain, Lieutenant Moreno was very upset. This wasn't going the way he wanted it to go. He obviously wanted pedo. He wanted beef. He wanted stuff to go down that day. Again, this is a different time. This is a time where they're just spraying into the cell. They'll shoot the block gun in there a few times, then they spray and spray and spray. So he knows his officers are not going to get hurt, right? And hold on. During the negotiation, Lieutenant Moreno walked off with another CO. I think his name was Ibarra. And I remember because they were both dicks, right? They walk off. They come back, and we were wrapping it up. The captain was going to discipline the CO. The trays were going to be returned with no problems. Everything was going to be as usual, right? But that individual is going to have an understanding of how you deal with people in there. As we're getting ready to go, Lieutenant Moreno comes in and he's like, hey, so-and-so has his handcuff port hostage because, he went to medical and we took the tray out of his cell and he goes, after he got handcuffed, he stuck his arm out and said, you guys took my tray. Now I'm keeping the handcuff port hostage, this and that. He said, Ibarra sprayed him. So what really happened was they had agreed because they knew there was a negotiation going on. You can go to medical, we'll leave your trays in the cell. And Lieutenant Moreno told Ibarra to go in there and snatch them, and then when he comes back, and if he says anything, spray him. So these are just the little games they play, right? So when he said that, I looked at the captain. I told him it's a wrap. Take me back to my cell. And because of that, they did, I want to say at least, I know it was in the 70s, cell rescues that day, right? And because the lieutenant, the social warden, everybody were so upset, initially, the first few cells of homies that they got, they sprayed them. And you guys got to understand, when you get hit with that type of spray, and as much as they're putting in there, I don't know what's in it, man, but it makes all the mucus come out of your nose, and it's like it won't break. It's like It'll hang like this far from the ground, from your nose, thick, and you're just walking in a swing. It's disgusting. But the first few extractions they did, or cell rescues that they did, they made the raza come out butt naked. They can't see. They have this mucus coming out of them. And they were being in handcuffs, escorted all the way down the tier and out to the dog cages, butt naked. I was already out. Me and my Sally were the first ones out there, right? And when I saw the first homies go by, I looked. I was like, what the? Then I saw it happen, like I said, I think it was the first 3 cells. And the captain was going by. And I told him, I said, if one more cell comes out like that, you're going to extract us from this cage. And then you're going to extract us from the cells again. Next time you give us anything we can hold on to. You're going to extract us from the showers. Like, shit is about to get real serious back here when you keep trying to humiliate people. Your lieutenant and your CO went behind your back and created this whole bullshit. So disrespect and try to humiliate people one more time. The captain went in there and told them, hey, they need to have clothes on. I remember, and I want to say this. Shout out to Big Red. Big Red was a black dude, light-skinned black dude with green eyes. Out of Stockton, I believe it was. He used to run around with the Kumis over there on Sea Yard, New Folsom. Nate Dog 916. What's up, big dog? You might remember. But that was a cool ass fucking brother right there. He cell extracted with the raza. I remember, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget that guy. Because I remember he was next to I don't want to say what's his name, but they asked him, hey, what's up, Red? Oh, because he held his tray. And they were like, oh, Red. They were like, Red, you a Southsider, homie? And he was like, I'm riding with y'all. And they go, hey, why you gonna cell extract? He said, cause my toast be coming in soggy every morning. He said for some soggy toast. But anyways, man, that's how prison is. I knew there was a notorious cell extraction that happened back when they were doing cell extractions, running in the cells, really hurting people. Calipad had a famous one. I think it happened in 1993 or somewhere around there. And it was over a piece of cornbread. People get bored in the home, start bullying, start putting people in bad situations where because you don't like something, you hold your tray and you drag everybody with you. So this is just another cautionary tale, man. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to have to fight somebody else's battle because they can't stick up for themselves when somebody calls them a punk or a bitch. You know what I mean? Anyways, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.